So, as I'm sitting here doing this Tuesday night reflection, I know it's probably late on the other side of the world because I'm still here in the great state of Arizona. And today was a day that this just hit me. And the beauty thing that I love about Substack is that when something has hit you and you want to share, that's what you do. You share. And so I wanted to share this, and I wanted to share something that hit me. Me and my daughter was watching news last night, and we try not to watch a whole lot of news just because of everything that's been going on and been happening lately. So we're sitting there watching the news, and we're watching like, wow, this happened in real time. And so we're watching, and I'm like, this is it's crazy, right? The time and the era that we live in right now, you just see so much stuff that's happening. And you're just like, this is happening now. This is not something that happened 2 years ago. This is happening right now in my era, in my time. And so, can I just say something for a moment? Can we all just let's let's just do it again. This time I want you to take a really deep breath. Like, and I want you to hold it and then release it. I'm learning to do more of that with everything from working with clients to gas prices to food prices to building a business. I have to stop for a moment and I have to breathe. And it just reminded me that are we taking that time? Are we taking that moment to take a step back? Because so many things are coming at us at one time. Everything is begging, not asking, they're begging for our attention. Whether it's the news, whether it is the children, the husband, the job, aging parents, and can I even bring it closer? Ourselves. Ourselves is asking, like, hey, how about if you give me a little bit of attention? How about if you drink some water today, take a walk today, do some meditation today, spend some time with God today? Because your body's asking for some things, but we're just ignoring it. So as I'm watching, how another attempt on our president's life, the thing that stood out to me was how they rushed and they put their body over our vice president. And then they came and they shuffled out the president. And this came to me. It was like, wow, are we just as protective of ourselves the same way? Do we protect our mind, our peace, our body? Or are we just allowing it to be invaded by any and everything? Uh, I just want that to sit for a moment. Because as I'm seeing people straddling the table and they're getting up under tables and they got all the different gear on and the helmets on, and but are we doing the same thing? Or are we just letting our emotions be exposed, our mindsets be exposed, that any and everything can hijack it? And are you putting on the full armor of God? Because before you walk out of that door tomorrow, you best be darn sure that you take a moment. I know you got to get to work, you got to be there, you got to go through traffic, and you got to stop off and get your Starbucks before, because you know you can't deal with nobody unless you have your coffee, which I gave up coffee. Not a fat ladies and gentlemen a whole year ago, but that's another story. I I know, like, you need to have everything in order. So before even nobody talk to you, listen, I ain't had my coffee. Let me sit down at my desk. Like, you have this whole routine. But before you even got into your car, it should have started when your eyes open. It should have started as soon as your eyes opened and you were able to hear, you was able to speak. You still could recognize yourself in the mirror. And from the time that happened, a lot of gratitude should have been following afterwards. Like, I meet a lot of people um, in my line of work. And I'm always asking them, like, well, how are you doing today? And how's things going for you? And whether it's young or old, I pretty much get the same answer. And they'll say, oh, I'm doing okay. I'm doing all right. And I hit them with, but think about the alternative. And they're like, what? What do you? I said, think about the alternative. The alternative could have been so much different. And I said that to a young man, and he was like, okay, so yeah, like, you got me on that one, Jackie. That was, I wasn't expecting for you to say that. So when anybody asks me, and if you ever meet me and you say, well, Jackie, how are you? And I will tell you something in the form of, depending on, the move I'm in the moment, I'll say blessed and highly favored. Or I'll say something like, I'm doing fabulous. Thank you for asking. I'm doing wonderful. Thank you for thinking about me. And they look at me like, what? Because when I think about what the alternative could have been that day, I could have been in a car accident. I could have been uh, not being able to speak, walk, talk, hear, see. So when you ask me how I'm doing, oh, I'm doing fabulous. I'm doing great. Thank you for asking. Now, does that mean like I may not have uh, pain or something? Not real big pain, but like my knee might have been hurting that day. No, because I was allowed to feel the pain. I was allowed to tell you that I had pain. And so, like, I'm watching this unfold on TV, and I'm thinking like, wow, look how quickly, look at the precision that they took to make sure that everybody got to their proper positions. And are you doing the same thing? Or are you just allowing every wind and everything just to move you to and fro? Are you allowing your peace to be disturbed, your joy to be taken, your mind be discombobulated, especially now in this time and age? This whole week, starting from last week, is that I had made a decision to do something totally not in my, I wouldn't say character, but totally not in my pushing the envelope for myself. Now, I'm great at pushing the envelope for other people because that's what I do. Like, I help women find clarity and understand how to make the next move without feeling inferior or scared. But you too can move, right? And I do this all the time. But then when it came time for me to say, okay, it's time for you to let people really know what you do, like, for real, not on the back end, not secretly, but now you got to, like, come to the forefront. And so when I made that decision to do that, it was like, wow. So I said, okay, God, I'm going to spend this time guarding the things I hear, the things I'm looking at. Because I want to make sure that when I do this webinar in the next couple of weeks, that is not out of Jackie's emotions or out of anything that has not been healed. But I want it to come from a place where I've walked the walk. I've got the healing. I've gotten life university, and I got a degree forward. But I also want to make sure that I'm not allowing everything to just come on in and just sit and just pull up a chair and make a plate. And, and now you done brought you some friends with you. Like, you done told anxiety to come sit down. You done told fear to come sit down. You done told procrastination to come sit down. And now they busy throwing a party because there was no protection at the door. There was no armor at the door saying, absolutely not, you cannot come here. There was nothing there to stop them from pulling up a chair, sitting down, making a feast on your mind, on your emotions, on your words. So before you go into tomorrow, take inventory. Ask yourself, am I guarding? Am I standing at the gate? Am I making sure that I am being very careful on who I allow or what I will allow to have access to me in this season? And that includes family too. Let's not get that twisted because we feel, oh, they family. No, absolutely not. Especially family and friends that, because here's why, because they know you. They seen you grow up. They seen you, do the good, the bad, and the indifference. But you're not that person anymore. You're a person that has grown. You're a person that have took the time to do the work behind the scenes when nobody was clapping for you, like when nobody was cheering you on. When you sat there and you was crying and snotting and you said, God, if you get me out of this, I promise that I'm going to let everybody know. That's what you told. You said, Lord, if you do this for me one more time, I'm going to let everybody know my life is going to be a walking testimony. Oh, I'm sorry. That was me on what I told him. I said, Lord, if you let me live through this, I am not going to be ashamed to tell everybody about my story and how I didn't bring myself through, but it was you. Even in the midst of when I was going through, you were still right there walking with me. Even though I know what I was doing was not a thing of you, but you allow me to make it on this side of town so I can tell somebody and to help another lady or to help another young man, to help another child, another teenager. So as you go about, as we're about to end April and go into May, how are you going to step into the new month? What things are you leaving here and not picking back up again? What things are you saying, no more? I have carried you long enough. This baggage is too heavy for me and I'm about to put it down. What thing are you going to draw the line in the sand and say, this is it right here? Either I'm going to be for it or I'm not. Either my yeses and my nos, and there is no in between. I'm teaching my grandson the same thing. He's 8. I'm saying, listen, either your yes, let your yes be your yes and your no's be your no's, but you're not straddling the fence. If you tell the truth the first time, you ain't got to worry about thinking the 5 other lies that come with the last lie. Because the consequence is going to still be the same whether or not you tell the story or not. Because here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen, a lie don't care who told it as long as they get told. But I'm teaching him now to be a man of integrity. A man that because somebody else is going somewhere else, I need for you to protect your peace. I need for you to protect your character. I need for you to protect the man that you're about to come. And when I say you, that means that number one, God is your source. You're not doing this all by yourself. Because then now you think that you did it. Now you thinking that you all like that in the bag of chips. Don't get me wrong, you are. But the reason that you're a bag of chips and some dip is because of who your father is. And can I tell you, as we continue to write on Substack and we share our stories on Substack, ladies and gentlemen, don't get discouraged of well doing. If you're writing, if you're doing videos or you're doing the podcast and Substack is your platform, don't get encouraged. Please don't get discouraged. There are people who are going to subscribe, they're going to follow, they're going to unsubscribe, they're going to because here's everything is begging for their attention. Trust me, I know. Y'all know how many people on Substack now? It's a lot. It's a lot. And take the time to read through the people that you want to follow and the people that you want to subscribe to because the same thing is going to happen to you. Everybody's not going to like your content. Everybody's not going to like what you say. Everybody's not going to be feeling you, and that's okay. You want the people that are your tribe and vice versa. You want the people to say, hey, you know what? She hears me. She sees me. She gets it. And they will subscribe. They will, pay for your content or they'll do it for free. And it's okay. I tell my mentees this all the time. I'd rather have 50 strong people than 50 straddling the fence people. Because I know 50 strong people, I know that they are doing the work. But 50 people that are straddling the fence, that means that you got to pull them. That means that it always has to be something to keep them hype all the time. And you're doing the work, but they're stepping, thinking that it's going to. I wish I could tell you that, ladies and gentlemen, it doesn't happen that way. But it starts with you protecting. It starts with you deciding, make a decision today. So as you go into tomorrow, which is a beautiful day, Wednesday, I want you to remember this. When you wake up in the morning, the alternative could have been